One question has been asked about what do tantra mean by purification of the mind, purity of the mind as a basic condition to further progress. Ordinarily, whatsoever is meant by purity is not meant by tantra. Ordinarily, we divide everything into bad and good. The division may be for any reason, hygienically, morally, or in any other way. But we divide life into two, good and bad. And ordinarily, whenever we say purity, we mean goodness. The bad qualities should not be allowed, and the good qualities should be there. But for Tantra, this division of good and bad is meaningless. Tantra looks at life not through any dichotomy, any duality, any division. Then what is meant by purity in Tantra is a very relevant question. If you ask a saint, he will say anger is bad, sex is bad, greed is bad. If you ask a Gurdjieff, he will say negativity is bad. Whatsoever emotion is negative is bad. To be positive is good. If you ask Jains, Buddhas, Hindus, Christians, Mohammedans, they may differ in their definition of good and bad, but they have definitions. They call certain things bad and certain things good. So, to define purity is not difficult for them. Whatsoever they take as good is pure. Whatsoever they take as bad is impure. But for Tantra it is a deep problem. Tantra makes no superficial division between good and bad. Then what is purity? Tantra says to divide is impure, and to live in non-division is purity. So for Tantra, purity means innocence, undifferentiated innocence. A child is there. You call him pure. He gets angry. He has greed. Why you call pure? What is pure in childhood? Innocence. There is no division in the mind of the child. The child is unaware of any divisions, what is good, what is bad. That unawareness is the innocence. Even if he gets angry, he has no mind to be angry. It is pure and simple act. It happens. And when anger goes, it goes. Nothing is left behind. The child is again the same. as if the anger has never been there. The purity is not touched. The purity is the same. So child is pure because there is no mind. The more mind will grow and the child will become impure. Then anger will be there as a considered thing, not spontaneous. Then sometimes the child will suppress the anger if the situation is not permitting. And now when anger will be suppressed, sometimes the anger will be transferred also. When really there was no need to be angry, he will get angry. Because the suppressed anger will need some outlet. Now everything will become impure because the mind has come in. A child can be a thief in our eyes, but a child himself is never a thief. Because the very concept that things belong to individuals doesn't exist in his mind. If he takes your watch, your money or anything, it is not a theft for him. Because the very notion that things belong to someone is non-existent. His theft is pure. And your non-theft also is not pure. The mind is there. Tantra says, when someone becomes again like a child, he is pure. Of course, he is only like a child, not child. The difference is there, the similarity is there. The similarity is the innocence regained. Again, someone is like a child. A child is standing naked. No one feels the nakedness because child is still unaware of the body. His nakedness has a quality different from your nakedness. You are aware of the body. The sage must regain it. Mahavir stands again naked. That nakedness again has the same quality of innocence. He has forgotten his body. He is no more the body. But the difference is also there, and the difference is great. The child is simply ignorant, hence the innocence. And the sage is wise, hence the innocence. The child will become one day aware of his body, will feel the nakedness, will try to hide, will become guilty, will feel shame or anything. He will come to be aware. So his innocence is innocence as ignorance. Knowledge will destroy it. That's the meaning of the biblical story of Adam and Eve being expelled from Eden. They were naked like children. They were not aware of the body. They were not aware of anything, anger, greed, lust, sex. They were unaware. They were like children, innocent. But God had forbidden them not to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. The tree of knowledge was forbidden, but they eat, because anything forbidden becomes inviting. Anything forbidden becomes attractive. They were living in a big garden with infinite trees, but the tree of knowledge became most important and significant because it was forbidden. Really, this forbiddenness became the attraction, invitation. They were as if magnetized, hypnotized to the tree. They couldn't escape it. They had to eat. But this story is beautiful because the tree is named Tree of Knowledge. The moment they ate the fruit of knowledge, they became non-innocent. They became aware. They came to realize they are naked. Immediately, Eve tried to hide her body. With the awareness of body, they became aware of everything: anger, lust, greed, everything. They became adult. They were expelled from the garden. So in Bible, knowledge is sin. They were thrown out of the garden. They were punished because of knowledge. Unless they become again like children, innocent, non-knowing, they cannot enter the garden. They can enter the kingdom of God again only if they fulfill this condition, that they have become innocent again. The whole thing is just the story of humanity. Every child is expelled from the garden, not only Adam and Eve. Every child lives in his childhood in innocence, without knowing anything. He is pure. But the purity is of ignorance. It cannot continue. Unless it becomes a purity of wisdom, you cannot rely on it. It will have to go. Sooner or later, you will have to eat the fruit of knowledge. Each child will have to eat the fruit of knowledge. It was easy in the Garden of Eden. Just the tree was there. To substitute the tree, we have schools, colleges, universities. Each child will have to pass, will have to become non-innocent, will have to lose his innocence. The very world needs knowledge. The very existence needs knowledge. You cannot exist in it without knowledge. And the moment knowledge comes, division enters. You begin to divide what is good, what is bad. So for Tantra, the division of good and bad is impurity. Before it, you are pure. After it, you are pure. In it, you are impure. But knowledge is a necessary evil. You cannot escape it. One has to go through it. That is part of life. But one need not remain in it for always. one can transcend it. The transcendence makes you again pure and innocent. If divisions lost their meaning, if the knowledge which differentiates between good and evil is no more, you look at the world again from a innocent attitude. Jesus says, unless you become like children, you cannot enter into my kingdom of God. Unless you become like children, this is the purity of tantra. Lao Tse says that 1 inch division and heaven and hell are set apart. No division is the mind of the sage. No division at all. A sage doesn't know what is good, what is bad. He is like children, but unlike also, because he has known this division. He has passed through this division and transcended it. He has gone beyond it. He has known darkness and light, but now he has gone beyond it. Now he sees darkness as part of light and light as part of darkness. Now there is no division. Lightness and darkness both have become one. Degrees of one phenomena. Now he sees everything as degrees of one. Howsoever polarly opposite, they are not two. Life and death, love and hate, good and bad, everything part of one phenomenon, one energy. Difference is only of degrees, and they can never be divided, they cannot be marked from this point. There is division. There is no division. What is good? What is bad? Where you can define them and demark them as separate, they are always one. Only degrees. Once this is known and felt, your mind becomes again pure. This purity is meant by Tantra. So, I will define Tantra purity as innocence, not as goodness. Innocence. But innocence can be ignorant. Then, it is of no use. It has to be lost. You have to be thrown out of it. Otherwise you cannot mature. Gaining of knowledge and transcending of knowledge both are part of maturing, part of being really adults. So go through them, but don't remain there. Move, go on moving. One day comes, you are beyond them. That's why Tantra purity is difficult to understand and can be misunderstood. It is delicate. So, to recognize a Tantra sage is virtually impossible. Ordinary sages and saints can be recognized because they follow you, your standards, your definitions, your morality. A tantra sage is difficult even to be recognized because he transcends all divisions. So, really, in the whole history of human growth, we know really nothing about Tantra sages. Nothing is mentioned, recorded. Because it is so difficult to recognize them. Confucius went to Laozi. Laozi's mind is that of a Tantra, awakened sage. He never knew about the word. The word is meaningless. He never knew anything about Tantra. But whatsoever he has said is Tantra. Confucius is the representative of our mind, the arch representative. He continuously thinks in terms of good and bad, what should be done and what should not be done. He is a legalist. The greatest legalist ever born. He went to see Laozi and he asked Laozi what is good, what one ought to do, what is bad. Define clearly. Laozi says definitions create mess. Because defining means dividing. This is this and that is that. You divide. You say A is A, B is B. You have divided. You say A cannot be B. You have created a division, a dichotomy, and the existence is one. A is always becoming B. A is always moving into B. Life is always becoming death. Life is always moving into death. So how you define? Childhood moving into youth, youth moving into old age, health moving into disease, disease moving into health. So where you demark them as separate, life is one movement. And the moment you define, you create mess. Because definitions will be dead. And life is a alive movement. So definitions are always false. Laozi says defining is creating untruth. So don't define. Don't say what is good and what is bad. So Laozi says, what are you saying? Then how people can be led and guided? Then how they can be taught? Then how they can be made moral and good? Laozi says, when someone tries to make someone else good, that is the sin in my eyes. Who are you to lead? Who are you to guide? And the more there are guides, the more confusion. Leave everyone to himself. Who are you? This type of attitude seems dangerous. It is. Society cannot be founded on such attitudes. Confucius goes on asking, and the whole point is that Lao Tse says nature is enough, no morality is needed. Nature is spontaneous, nature is enough, no imposed laws and disciplines are needed. Innocence is enough, knowledge is not needed. Confucius came back very much disturbed. He couldn't sleep for nights. And when his disciples asked, "Tell us something about the meeting, what happened?" Confucius says, "He is not a man, he is a danger. A dragon. He is not a man, never go that side. Wherever you hear about Lao Tse, just escape from that place. He will disturb your mind completely." And that's right, because the whole tantra is concerned how to transcend the mind. So it is bound to destroy the mind. Mind lives with definitions, laws, disciplines. Mind is an order. But remember, tantra is not disorder. And that's a very subtle point to be understood. Confucius couldn't understand Lao Tse. When Confucius left, Lao Tse was laughing and laughing, and so his disciples asked, "Why you are laughing so much? What has happened?" So Lao Tse is reported to have said, mind is such a barrier into understanding. Even the mind of a Confucius is a barrier. He couldn't understand me at all. And whatsoever he will say about me will be a misunderstanding. Because he thinks he is going to create order in the world. You cannot create order in the world. Order is inherent in it. It is there always. When you try to create order, you create disorder. So Lao Tse says he will think I am creating disorder, and really he is creating disorder. I am against all imposed orders, because I believe in a spontaneous discipline which comes and grows automatically. You need not impose it. Tantra looks in this way. For Tantra, innocence is spontaneity, sahajata. To be oneself without any imposition. To be simply oneself growing like a tree. Not the tree of your garden, but the tree of the forest. Growing spontaneously. Not guided. Because every guidance is a misguidance. For Tantra, every guidance is a misguidance. Not guided. Not guarded. Not directed. Not motivated. Simply growing. The inner law is enough. No other law is needed. And if you need some other law, it only shows you don't know the inner law. You have lost contact with it. So the real thing is not something imposed. The real thing is again regaining the balance. Again removing to the center. again returning to the home so that you gain the real inner law. So for morality, for religions, so-called religions, order is to be imposed. Goodness is to be imposed from above, from without. Religions, moral teachings, priests, popes, they all take you as inherently bad. Remember this. They don't believe in the goodness of man. They don't believe in any inner goodness. They believe you are evil. Unless you are taught to be good, you cannot be good. Unless goodness is forced from without, there is no possibility of its coming from. So for priests, for religious people, for moralists, you are bad, naturally. Goodness is going to be a discipline imposed from without. You are a chaos. Order has to be brought in by them. They will bring the order. And they have made the whole world a mess, a confusion, a madhouse. Because they have been ordering for centuries and centuries, disciplining for centuries and centuries. They have taught so much that the taught has gone mad. Tantra believes in your inner goodness. Remember this difference. Tantra says everyone is born good. Goodness is your nature. It is the case you are already good. You need a natural growth. You don't need any imposition. That's why nothing is taken as bad. If anger is there, if sex is there, if greed is there, Tantra says they are also good. The only thing lacking is you are not centered in yourself. That's why you cannot use them. That's why you cannot use them. Anger is not bad. Really, you are not inside. That's why anger creates havoc. If you are present there inside, anger becomes a healthy energy. Anger becomes health. Anger is transformed into energy. It becomes oj. Whatsoever is there is good. Tantra believes in the inherent goodness of everything. Everything is holy. Nothing is unholy and nothing is evil. For Tantra there is no devil, only divine existence. Religions cannot exist without the devil. They need a God and they need a devil also. So don't be misguided when you see in their temples only God. Don't be misguided. Just behind that God is hiding the devil. Because no religion can exist without the devil. Something has to be condemned. Something has to be fought. Something has to be destroyed. Total is not accepted. Only part. This is very basic. You are not accepted totally by any religion. Only part. They say, we accept your love, but not your hate. Destroy hate. And this is a very deep problem, because when you destroy hate completely, love is destroyed. Because they are not two. They say we accept your silence, but we don't accept your anger. Destroy anger, and your aliveness is destroyed. Then you will be silent, not an alive man, but a dead one. That silence is not silence, just death. They always divide you into two, the evil and the divine. They accept the divine and they are against the evil. The evil has to be destroyed. So if someone really follows them, he will come to conclude that the moment you destroy the devil, the God is destroyed. But no one really follows them. No one can follow them. Because the very teaching is absurd. So what everyone is doing? Everyone is just deceiving. That's why so much hypocrisy. That hypocrisy has been created by religions. You cannot do whatsoever they are teaching you to do, so you become hypocrite. If you follow them, you will die. If you don't follow them, you feel guilty that I am irreligious. So what to do? So the cunning mind makes a compromise. He says, go on paying lip service to them that we are following you, and go on doing whatsoever you want to do. Continue your anger, continue your sex, continue your greed, but always go on saying that greed is bad, anger is bad, sex is bad, it is a sin. So one thing, hypocrisy, the whole world has become hypocrite. No man is honest. Unless these dividing religions disappear, no man can be. This will look paradoxical because all the religions are teaching to be honest. And they are the foundation stones of all dishonesty. They make you dishonest because they teach you to do impossible things which you cannot do, so you become hypocrites. Tantra accepts you in your totality, in your wholeness. Because Tantra says either accept wholly or reject wholly. There is no go in between. A man is a whole, organic whole. You cannot divide it. You cannot say, this we will not accept. Because that which you reject is organically joined to that which you accept. It is like this, my body is there. Someone comes and he says, we accept your blood circulation, but we don't accept your noise in the heart, this continuous beating of the heart, we don't accept it. We accept your blood circulation, it is okay, it is silent. But my blood circulation is through my heart, and the beating is basically related with blood circulation. It is because of it. So what am I to do? It is an organic unity. My heart and my blood circulation are not two things. They are one. So either accept me totally or reject me totally, but don't try to divide me. Because then you will create a dishonesty, deep dishonesty. If you go on condemning my heartbeats, I will start condemning my heartbeats. But the blood cannot circulate. I cannot be alive without it. So what to do? Create mass. Go on as you are and go on all the time saying something else which you are not, which you cannot be. It is not difficult to see how heart and blood circulation is related. It is difficult to see how love and hate are related. They are one. When you love someone, what are you doing? It is one movement, like breath going out. When you love someone, what are you doing? You are going out to meet him. It is a breath going out. When you hate someone, it is breath coming back. When you love, you are attracted to someone. When you hate, you are repelled. Attraction and repulsion are two things, two waves of one movement. Attraction and repulsion are not two things. You cannot divide them. You cannot say you can breathe in, but you cannot breathe out. You can breathe out, but you cannot breathe in. You are allowed only one thing. Either go on breathing out or go on breathing in. Don't do the other thing. How can you breathe in if you are not allowed to breathe out? If you are not allowed to hate, you cannot love. Tantra says we accept the whole man because man is an organic unity. Man is a deep unity. You cannot discard anything. And this is as it should be. Because if man is not an organic unity, then in this universe nothing can be an organic unity. Because man is the peak of organic wholeness. The stone lying on the street is unity. The tree is unity. The flower, the bird is, everything is unity. Why not man? And man is the peak, a great unity, a very complex organic whole. You cannot deny anything. Tantra says we accept you as you are. That doesn't mean that there is no need to change. That doesn't mean that now you have to stop growing. Rather on the contrary, that means that we accept the base of growth. Now you can grow. But this growth is not going to be a choice. This growth is going to be a choiceless growth. Look, for example, when a Buddha becomes enlightened, we can ask where his anger has gone. Where? He was with anger. He was with sex. Where his sex has gone? Where is his anger has gone? Where is his greed? We cannot recognize any anger in him now. When he is enlightened, we cannot recognize any anger in him. Can you recognize the mud in the lotus? Because the lotus comes from the mud. If you have never seen a lotus growing from the mud and a flower is brought to you, can you conceive that from ordinary mud in a pond this lotus has come up? This beautiful lotus from ugly mud. And can you recognize anywhere the mud in it? But it is there, transformed. The fragrance is coming. from that very ugly mud. The rosiness of the petals is coming from the same ugly mud. If you hide this lotus flower into mud again, within days it will disappear again into its mother. Then again you cannot recognize where that lotus has gone. Where? Where is the fragrance? Where are those beautiful petals? You cannot recognize in Buddha yourself, but he is there. Of course, on a greater and higher plane transformed. The sex is there, the anger is there, the hate is there, everything that belongs to man is there. He is a man, but come to his ultimate growth. He has become a lotus flower. You cannot recognize the mud, but that doesn't mean the mud is not there. But not as mud. It is a higher unity. It is a higher unity. That's why in Buddha you can feel none, neither hate nor love. That's still more difficult, because Buddha appears totally loving, never hating, totally loving, always silent, never getting angry. But his silence is different from your silence. It cannot be the same. What is your silence? Somewhere Einstein has said that our peace is nothing but a preparation for war. So between two wars we have a gap of peace. But that peace is not really peace, but only the gap between two wars. So it becomes a cold war. So we have two types of wars, hot and cold. After Second World War, Russia and America are in a cold war, not at peace. Just a preparation of another war. Getting ready. Because each war disturbs, destroys. You have to get ready again. You need a gap, an interval. But if really wars disappear completely from the world, then this type of peace, which means cold war, will also disappear. Because it is always between two wars. If wars disappear completely, this cold war, which we call peace, cannot continue. What is your silence? Between two angers? Just a preparation. When you look at ease, what it is? Really, you are relaxed. Really at ease, are just preparing for another outburst. Preparing for another explosion, because you also need time. Anger is wastage of energy. When you get angry, you cannot get angry again immediately. When you move into a sexual act, you cannot move again immediately. You will need time. So you will need a brahmacharya at least for 2 or 3 days. It will depend on your age. This celibacy is not celibacy. It is just preparing again. Between two sex acts, there can be no brahmacharya. Between two meals, you go on calling it a fast. That's why in the morning you call breakfast. Where is the fast? So you call it breakfast in the morning. You were just preparing. You cannot go on thrusting food into yourself continuously. You have to give gap. But that gap is not a fast. Really, that is only preparation for another meal, not fast. So when we are silent, it is always between two angers. When we are at ease, it is always between two peaks of tension. When we are celibate, it is only between two sex acts. When we are loving, it is always between two hatreds. Remember this. So when Buddha is silent, don't think that this is your silence. Your anger has disappeared, your silence also has disappeared. They both exist together. They cannot be separated. So when Buddha is a brahmachari, a celibate, don't think it is your brahmachari. Your sex has disappeared, your brahmacharya also. They both were part of one thing. They both have disappeared. Now a very different being is there, you cannot conceive. Because you can conceive only between the dichotomy you know. You cannot conceive what type of man is this. What has happened to him? The whole energy has come to a different level, a different plane of existence. The mud has become lotus, but it is there. The mud is not discarded in the lotus, it is transformed. So all the energies in you are accepted by tantra. Tantra is not for discarding anything whatsoever, but for transformation. And Tantra says the first step is to accept. The first step, very difficult, to accept. You may be getting angry every day, many times. But to accept your anger is very difficult. To be angry is very easy. To accept your anger is very difficult. Why? You don't feel so much difficulty in being angry. Then why do you feel so much difficulty in accepting it? Because getting angry is not so bad as accepting anger. Because everyone thinks he is a good man. Anger is just momentary. It comes and goes. It doesn't destroy your self-image. You go on remaining good. You say, it happened. It is not destructive to your ego. And so those who are cunning, they will repent immediately. They will get angry and they will repent. And they will ask for forgiveness. These are the cunning ones. Why? I call them cunning. Because the anger gives a trembling to their self-image. They begin to feel uneasy. They begin to feel that I'm angry. I get angry. I'm so bad. So the image of a good man trembles. They have to make it established again. Immediately they say this was bad. I will never do it again. Forgive me. By asking for forgiveness, their self-image is established again. They are okay, back to the pre-state, when there was no anger. They have cancelled their anger by asking for forgiveness. They have called themselves bad just to remain good. That's why you can go on for lives together being angry, being sexual, being possessive, being this and that, but never accepting. This is the trick of the mind. Whatsoever you do is just on the periphery. In the center you remain good. If you accept that I have anger, in the center you become bad. Then it is not a question of getting angry. Then it is not momentary. Then anger is your constituent. Then it is not that someone irritates you into anger. Even if you are alone, the anger is there. When you are not getting angry, the anger is there. Because anger is your energy, your part. It is not that sometimes it flares up and then goes off. No. It cannot flare up if it is not always present. You can put off this light, you can put on this light, but the current must remain continuously there. If the current is not there, you cannot put it and put off, put on and put off. The current, the anger current is always there. The sex current is always there. The greed current is always there. You can put on, you can put off. In situations, you change. But inwardly you remain the same. Accepting means anger is not act. Rather, you are anger. Sex is not just an act. You are sex. Greed is not just an act. You are greed. Accepting this means throwing the self-image. And we all have built beautiful self-image. Everyone has built one beautiful self-image. Absolutely beautiful. And whatsoever you are doing never touches it. You go on protecting this. The image is protected, you feel good. That's why you can get angry, you can get sexual. You are not disturbed. But if you accept that I am sexual, I am sex, I am anger, I am greed, then your self-image falls down immediately. That's why Tantra says this is the first step and the most difficult. To accept whatsoever you are. We sometimes try to accept also. But whenever we accept again in a very calculated way. Our cunningness is deep and subtle. And mind has very subtle ways to deceive. You accept sometimes, yes, I am angry. When you accept this, you accept only when you say, when you think how to transcend anger. Then you accept, okay, I am angry. Now tell me how to go beyond it. You accept sex only how to be non-sexual. Whenever you are trying to be something, you can accept, because your self-image is again maintained by the future. You are violent and you are striving to be non-violent. You accept that I am violent. Today I am violent, but tomorrow I will be non-violent. So how to be non-violent? You postpone your self-image in the future. You don't think yourself in the present. Then you always think in the ideal, non-violence, love, compassion. You are in the future. This present is just to be past. Your real self is in the future. So you go on identifying yourself with ideals. Those ideals are also ways of non-accepting the reality. You are violent, that is the case. And the present is only the existential. The future is not. Your ideals are just dreams. They are tricks to postpone the mind, to focus the mind somewhere else. You are violent, this is the case. Accept it. And don't try to be non-violent. Because a violent mind cannot become non-violent. How is it possible? Look deep into it. You are violent. How you can be non-violent? Whatsoever you will do will be done by the violent man. Whatsoever. Even striving to be non-violent, the effort is to be done by the violent mind. You are violent. So trying to be non-violent, you will be violent. In the very effort of being non-violent, you will try every type of violence. That's why I go to these strivers for non-violence. They may not be violent with others, they are with themselves. They are very much violent with themselves, murdering themselves. And the more they get mad against themselves, more they are celebrated. When they become completely mad, suicidal, then the society says, these are the sages. They have only transformed the object of violence and nothing else. They were violent with someone else. Now they are violent with themselves. But the violence is there. And when you are violent with someone else, the law can protect. The court can help. The society will condemn you. But when you are violent against yourself, there is no law. No law can protect you against yourself. When man is against himself, there is no protection. Nothing can be done. And no one cares because it is your business. No one else is involved in it. It is your business. The so-called monks, so-called saints, they are violent against themselves. No one is interested. Okay, go on doing. It is your business. If your mind is greed, how you can be non-greedy? The greedy mind will remain greedy. Whatsoever is done by it to go beyond greed is not going to help. Of course, we can create new greeds. So tell to a greedy mind that what are you doing? Just accumulating wealth? You will die and you cannot take your wealth with you. This is the logic of the so-called religious preachers. You cannot take your wealth with you. But if someone can take then the whole logic fails. The greedy man feels the logic, of course, how I can take this wealth with me. And he wants to take it. That's why the priest becomes influential. He shows him that you are doing something nonsense. What are you doing? Accumulating things which cannot be taken beyond death. So I will teach you how to accumulate things which can be taken. Virtue can be taken. Punya can be taken. Goodness can be taken, not wealth. So donate the wealth. But you are appealing to his greed. You are telling him, now we give you better things which can be carried beyond death. The appeal gets. The greedy man feels, you are right, death is there, and nothing can be done. So I must do something which can be carried beyond. So I must create some bank balance in the other world also. This world, this bank balance cannot be with me forever. So they go on talking in these terms. Go through these scriptures. They appeal to your greed. They say, what you are doing, wasting your time in momentary pleasures? Momentary. Emphasis is on the momentary. Find out eternal pleasures. Then it is okay. They are not against pleasure. They are against their being momentary. Look at the greed. So sometimes it happens, you may find a non-greedy man who is enjoying momentary pleasures, but you can not find in your saints a man who is not asking, demanding for eternal pleasures. And the greed is more there. You can find a non-greedy man in ordinary man, but you cannot find a non-greedy man in your so-called saints. They also want pleasure, but they are more greedy than you. You are satisfied with momentary pleasures, they are not. Their greed is bigger. Their greed can only be satisfied with eternal pleasures. Infinite greed asks infinite pleasures. Remember this. A finite greed is satisfied with finite pleasures. They will tell you, what are you doing loving a woman? She is nothing but bones, blood. Look deep in the woman of your love. What she is. They are not against the woman. They are against the bones, against the blood, against the body. But if a woman is of gold, then it is okay. So they are asking for a woman of gold. They are not in this world. So they create another world. They say in heaven, golden damsels, apsaras, beautiful, never aging. In the Hindu heaven, apsaras, the heaven girls, they remain always at 16. They never grow more. Always 16, never less, never more. So what are you doing, wasting your time in these ordinary women? Think of heaven. They are not against pleasures. Really, they are against momentary pleasures. If through some whim, God gives this world eternal pleasures, your whole edifice of religion will fall down immediately. The whole appeal will be lost. If somehow bank balances can be carried beyond death, no one will be interested in creating bank balances in the other world. So death is a great help to the priests. But the appeal, a greedy man is always attracted by another greed. If you tell him and convince him that your greed is the cause of your misery, if you convince him that your greed is the cause of your misery, if you leave greed, you will attain a blissful state. He may try. Because now, you are not really against his greed, you are giving his greed new pastures. He can move in new greed dimensions. So Tantra says that a greedy mind cannot become non-greedy. A violent mind cannot become non-violent. But this seems very hopeless. If this is the case, then nothing can be done. Then what is Tantra stands for? If a greedy mind cannot become non-greedy, and a violent mind non-violent, and the sex of this mind transformed beyond sex, if nothing can be done, then what Tantra stands for? No, Tantra is not saying that nothing can be done. Something can be done, but the dimension is completely different. And now a greedy mind has to understand that he is greedy. Accept it. Not to try to be non-greedy. The greedy mind has to go deep in itself to realize the depth of his greed. Not moving from it. Remaining with it. Not moving in ideals, in contradictory ideals, in opposite ideals. Not moving there. Remaining in the present. Moving in the greed. Knowing the greed. Understanding the greed. And not trying to escape from it in any way. If you can remain with your greed, many things will happen. If you can remain with your greed, with your sex, with your anger, your ego will dissolve. This will be the first thing. And a great miracle it is. You go on, many people come to me and they go on asking how to be egoless. You cannot be egoless. Because you have to look at the foundations where your ego is founded. You are greedy and you think you are non-greedy. This is the ego. If you are greedy and you know and accept it totally that you are greedy, where you can allow your ego to stand. You are angry and you say you are angry, not say to others, you feel it deep down. You feel the helplessness. Where your anger can stand. You are sexual and you accept it. Whatsoever is there, you accept it. The non-acceptance of nature creates the ego. Non-acceptance of your suchness, your tathata, that which you are. If you accept it, the ego will not be there. If you don't accept it, if you reject it, and if you create ideals against it, there will be ego. Ideals are the stuff the ego is made. Accept yourself. Then you will look like an animal. You will not look like a man, because your concept of man is in our ideals. That's why we go on teaching others. Don't be like an animal, and everyone is an animal. Don't be like an animal, but what you can do, you are an animal. Accept your animality. And the moment you accept your animality, this is the first thing which has gone beyond animals. Because no animal knows that he is an animal. Only man can know. That is going beyond. You cannot go by denying. Accept. When everything is accepted, suddenly you feel you have transcended. Who is accepting? Who accepts this whole? That which accepts has gone beyond. If you reject, you remain on the same plane. You accept, you go beyond. Acceptance is transcendence. And if you accept yourself totally, suddenly you are thrown to your center. You cannot move anywhere. You cannot move from your suchness, from your nature. So you are thrown to your center. All these tantra techniques we are discussing, trying to understand, are different ways of throwing you into your center, throwing you from the periphery, and you are trying to escape from the center in many ways. Ideals are good escapes. So idealist people, they are the subtlest of egoists. And many things happen. You are violent, you create an ideal of non-violence. Then you need not go into yourself, into your violence. There is no need. This is the only need. Go on thinking about non-violence. Read about non-violence. Practice, try non-violence. Don't touch violence. And you are violent. So you can escape from yourself. You can go to the periphery. You will never come to the center. One thing, and second, when you create the ideal of non-violence, you can condemn others. Now it becomes very easy. You have the ideal to judge anyone, and you can say to anyone, you are violent. India has created many ideals. That's why India goes on condemning the whole world. Goes on continuously. The whole mind of India is condemnatory. They go on condemning the whole world. Everyone is violent. Only India is non-violent. And no one seems to be non-violent here. But the ideal is good, to condemn others. It never changes you, but you can condemn others because you have the ideal, the criterion. And whenever you are violent, you can rationalize it. Your violence is a thing altogether different. These 25 years, we have been many times violent. But our violence we never condemned. We always defend it and rationalize in beautiful terms. If we are violent in Bengal, in Bangladesh, then we say it is to help those people for freedom. If we are violent in Kashmir, it is to help Kashmiris. But you know, all those who are warmongering, if America is violent in Vietnam, it is for those poor people. No one is violent for himself. No one has ever been. We are always violent to help someone. Even if I kill you, it is for your goodness, for your good. It is to help you. And even if you are killed, even if I kill you, look at my compassion. For your good, I can even kill you. But we go on condemning the whole world. Bertrand Russell criticized Nehru when India attacked Goa. When India went into war with China, Bertrand Russell said that where is your non-violence now? You are all Gandhiites. Where is your non-violence now? Nehru replied by banning the book in India. The book Russell wrote was banned. This is our non-violent mind. This was a good discussion. The book must have distributed free, because he argued beautifully that you are a violent people. Your non-violence was just political. And your Gandhi was not a sage, just a diplomatic mind. And you all talk about non-violence, and when movement comes for you, you become violent. When others are fighting, then you stand your on high altars and you condemn the whole world, that the whole world is violent. With individuals, with societies, with cultures, with nations, this happens. If you have ideals, you need not transform yourself. You can always hope to be transformed into the future by the ideals themselves. And you can condemn others very easily. Tantra says, remain with yourself. Whatsoever you are, accept it. Don't condemn yourself, don't condemn others. Condemnation is futile. Energies are not changed by it. First step, accept. Remain with the fact. This is very scientific. Remain with the fact of anger, greed, sex. And know the fact in its total facticity. Don't just touch it from the above, from the surface. Know the fact in its totality, in its total facticity. Move into it to the roots. And remember, whenever you can move to the roots of anything, you transcend it. If you can know your sex to the very roots, you become master of it. If you can know your anger to the very roots, you become master of it. Then anger becomes just instrumental. You can use it. I remember many things about Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff will teach his disciples to be rightly angry. We have heard about Buddha's word, right meditation. Right thinking. Right contemplation. We have heard about Mahavir, right vision, right knowledge. Gurdjieff taught right anger, right greed. And the teaching was influenced by old tantra tradition. And Gurdjieff was condemned very much in the West, because in the West he was a living symbol of tantra. He will teach right anger. He will teach you how to be angry totally. If you are angry, he will tell you, get on. Don't suppress it. Let it come out in its totality. Move into it. Become anger. Don't withhold. Don't stand aside. Deeply take a jump into it. Let your whole body become a flare, a fire. And when the man will be moving totally in anger, and you have never moved, and you have never seen anyone, because everyone is cultured more or less. No one is original. Everyone is imitative more or less. No one is original. If you can move in anger totally, you will become just a fire, a burning. The fire will be so deep, the flames will be so deep, that past and future both will cease immediately. You will become just a present flame. And when your every cell is burning, when your every part of the body has become fiery, when you have become just anger, not angry, then Guruji will say, now be aware. Don't suppress, now be aware. Now suddenly be aware what you have become. What is anger? In this moment of total presentness, one can become suddenly aware. And you can start laughing at the absurdity of the whole thing, at the foolishness, at the stupidity of the whole thing. But this is not suppression, this is laughter. You can laugh at yourself. You have transcended yourself. Never again anger will be capable to master you. You have known anger in its totality, and still you could laugh, and still you could go beyond it. You could see from beyond your anger. Once seen its totality, now you know what anger is. And now you also know that if the whole energy transforms into anger, still you can be an observer, a witness. So there is no fear. Remember this, that which is not known always creates fear. That which is dark always creates fear. You are afraid of your own anger. So people go on saying that we suppress anger because it is not good to be angry. It may hurt others, but that is not the real cause. The real cause is they are afraid of their anger. If they get really angry, they don't know what may happen. They are afraid of themselves. They have never known anger. It is a very fearful thing hidden inside. They are afraid of it. That's why they fall in line with the society, with culture, with education, and they say, we must not be angry. Anger is bad. It hurts others. You are afraid of your anger. You are afraid of your sex. You have never been in sex totally. You have never been in sex so totally that you could have forgotten yourself. You were always there. Your mind was always there. And if the mind is there in the sexual act, the act is just pseudo, bogus. The mind must dissolve. You must become just body. There must not be any thinking. If the thinking is there, you are divided. Then the sex act is nothing but releasing overflowing energy. It is a relief, nothing else, nothing. But you are afraid to be totally in sex. Why you are afraid? That's why you fall in line, you toe the line with the society that sex is bad. You are afraid because if you move in sex totally, you don't know what you can do. You don't know what can happen. You don't know what animal force may come up. You don't know what your unconscious may throw you in. You don't know, because then you will not be the master. You will not be in the control. your self-image may be destroyed. So you control it. And the way to control it, remain in the mind. Let sex act be there, but local. Try to understand this local and general. Tantra says a sex act is local when your only sex center is involved. It is local. It is a local release. Sex center gets on accumulating energy. When it is overflowing, you have to release it. Otherwise, it will create tension. It will create heaviness. So release it. It is a local release. But your whole body, your whole self is not involved. Non-local, total. Involvement means your every fiber of the body, every cell of the body, whatsoever you are, is in it. Your whole being has become sexual. Not only your sex center, your whole being has become sexual. But then you are afraid, because then anything is possible. And you don't know, because you have never known the totality. So what can happen? You may do certain things which you cannot conceive. Your unconscious will explode. You will become not one animal, many animals, because you have passed through many lives, through many animal bodies. You may start howling. You may start screaming. You may start roaring like a lion. You don't know. Anything is possible. That creates fear. You need to be in control. So you never lose yourself in anything. That's why you never know anything. And unless you know, you cannot transit. Accept, move deep, go to the very roots. This is Tantra. Tantra stands for deep experiences. Anything experienced can be transcended. Anything suppressed can never be transcended. This much for today.